and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. We start the week with yet more turmoil on Twitter. This week's chaos: verification badges. You see, before Elon Musk took over, Twitter gave out blue ticks for free to notable figures to ensure the accounts were legit and to prevent the spread of fake news. But now, having a blue tick means that you're a Twitter Blue subscriber who pays $8 a month for perks like more visibility, longer posts, and fewer ads. Yep, last Friday, Twitter began rolling back legacy checkmarks for celebs and outlets like the BBC and the New York Times. Musk hoped that the new verification policy would attract more subscribers and help the company make some much-needed dough. But boy, did it backfire. The hashtag #BlockTheBlue took off like a rocket over the weekend, with users blocking anyone with a paid blue tick on site. And if that wasn't enough, even bigwigs like the Pope and Beyoncé briefly lost their blue ticks because they refused to pay the fee. But then, at the height of the Block the Blue campaign, Twitter CEO Elon Musk did what he does best, which is troll everyone, obviously. He began restoring blue ticks to certain outspoken celebs for free, specifically targeting public figures who had publicly criticized his new verification policies. And guess what? It turns out Musk was paying for those check marks out of his own pocket.
Elon Musk is personally paying for some celebrities to keep their blue checkmark on Twitter. Twitter's legacy checkmarks went away, and now many athletes, celebrities, and journalists lost the small blue badges that once confirmed their identities. Some celebrities who vowed to never pay for the service still have their badge. This is because Elon Musk has revealed he is personally covering their subscription fees. This includes NBA star LeBron James, author Stephen King, and actor William Shatner. Last month, LeBron James tweeted that he wasn't going to pay the money, and Stephen King was confused when a blue checkmark was still next to his name, which Elon Musk replied with, "You're welcome."
Over the weekend, almost everyone with over 1 million followers got a new blue tick for free, prompting some to clarify that their new status had come without them paying for it or requesting it. However, not everyone was able to issue such statements. Late legends like Paul Walker, Jamal Khashoggi, Kobe Bryant, and Chadwick Boseman were all verified posthumously. That obviously sparked more backlash among users, with many using their sense of humor to address the issue. Mike here says Elon admitting that he is paying for some celebs' blue marks is actually a lot more humiliating than last week's failed SpaceX launch. And as expected, there were multiple accounts claiming to be someone else. These two were fighting over which one of them is the real New York City government. And many users are crafting memes to criticize Musk and even making collections out of them. Our next story: controversial German magazine Der Aktuell is in trouble again for all the wrong reasons. The publication ran a cover story with 7-time F1 world champion Michael Schumacher titled "The First Interview." Schumi is quoted as saying that his life completely changed after his 2013 ski accident and how he was kept in an artificial coma for months. But it turns out this entire report was fabricated by AI tool Character.ai. This program allows users to simulate speaking with famous people, providing answers and responses that it deems the person in question would provide.
German weekly magazine Die Aktuell is facing legal action from the family of Michael Schumacher for publishing a fake interview with the 7-time Formula One champion that was generated by artificial intelligence. The family has been guarding his privacy since his serious brain injury in 2013. The latest edition of the magazine featured a picture of a smiling Schumacher with the headline "Michael Schumacher, the First Interview," but it emerged that the quotes were produced by AI.
The magazine says this interview was an experiment, yet it was marketed as real. And after widespread backlash, Der Aktuell's editor has been sacked. The incident has renewed calls for more oversight in the rapidly evolving AI sector.
What's hard to kind of understand in AI is who, how, and when to regulate. The types of tools that we have are going to be explosive, they're going to be new, they're going to be hard to understand. And so the benefits of regulation are kind of amorphous, but we know that it has to happen. Something that guarantees transparency seems to be at the top of the list. Knowing when you're served content that was generated with AI, or knowing what sort of data underlies that AI, is something that consumers should be able to have available to them.
All right, let's rewind a bit back to August 2021, when the Taliban reclaimed power in Afghanistan. Afghans from all walks of life were forced to flee the country. One such person was Ali Ismailzadeh, a renowned musician who had to leave his cherished violin behind to seek refuge in the US. Ali feared the Taliban would hurt him if he brought his violin along. You see, having an instrument is a crime in the eyes of the Taliban, and it's since banned playing music. Now, fast forward to today, and Ali has been in the US for a year now. To mark this occasion, his friend Latif Nasser decided to share his story on Twitter. It all began when Latif, a journalist, was asked to deliver a 110-year-old violin to an Afghan musician who had recently settled in LA. Now, that musician turned out, of course, to be Ali. And after meeting Ali and hearing his harrowing story of escape, Nasser and his wife invited him over for dinner. At the time, Ali was struggling to make ends meet, working in the stockroom of a clothing store. Now, over a hearty meal, Ali shared that he used to be the violinist for Afghan Star, the local version of American Idol. He had toured the world but always returned to Kabul, where he loved to study and play music. That was until the Taliban took over. Since that fateful dinner, they've become good friends, and Ali has since gotten a green card and a better job. He sends every extra penny to his family in Kabul. He's more settled too. He now has a bank account, driver's license, and even a car. But Ali's dream is to study music at a prestigious institution. And Latif has so far raised $120,000 through an online campaign for Ali to continue his violin lessons and further pursue his passion for music. And to bring things full circle, here's Ali playing the 110-year-old violin at Nasser's house to make us sway. That was quite beautiful. I really hope Ali gets to continue his music career properly in the States. Now, you probably remember playing retro video games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Space Invaders. But what about Electronica 2401 or The Wolf and Eggs? Nope, not ringing a bell? Well, these were among the Soviet Union's most popular games, and one museum in Moscow is trying to propel these games back into the public's consciousness. Sari reports.
It's a blast from the past, specifically the Soviet past. On the left, Nintendo's Mickey Mouse Game & Watch console, and on the right, its Soviet equivalent, called Electronica 2401.
Soviet copy started from Nintendo's Mickey Mouse Game & Watch series. The plot of the Soviet version of the game was exactly the same. If we compare the consoles, what's interesting is that the Soviet-made ones look more modest than the original Japanese ones, even in terms of the quality of materials and how it looks.
Visitors to Moscow's Yandex Museum can play these hit games from the 1980s. Most of the consoles here were made in the Soviet Union.
You can see an inscription here. It's in Armenian. You can clearly see these small consoles were manufactured all over the Soviet Union, each reflecting their regional flavor.
Electronica IMO2, Well You Wait, was one of the most popular games in the Soviet bloc. It was based on a hit cartoon in which a wolf tries to catch a hare. In the game version, the wolf has to find eggs.
This game was popularly known to the Soviet public as The Wolf and Eggs. Almost everyone in the Soviet Union has heard about this game. There's a famous saying, if you can score 999 points, after that getting 1,000 points is impossible. 1,000 points can't be scored.
And visitors here have a shot at trying to rack up that impossibly high score. But if they can't win that one, there are more than 25 other games they can try out.
To me, this is crazy. I've seen 3 or 4 retro gaming consoles in my life, but I didn't expect this many here. There are over 20.
Although technology has come a long way since then, these games still stand the test of time and bring nostalgia-filled fun.
Here are some other stories making headlines worldwide. Well, some smokers toss out their cigarettes on the street once they're done without thinking about how they're polluting the environment. But in Portugal, climate activists are trying to combat that mindset. They've piled up cigarette butts in the heart of Lisbon to raise awareness about the often overlooked form of pollution. And with the community's help, they've collected now more than 650,000 butts in just a week.
The main problem with the butts, it's not biodegradable. So basically it contains a form of plastic and even worse, a lot of toxins and heavy metals, chemicals. So with any rain, all those toxins getting flushed out of the cigarette butt and getting straight on the street from the sinks into here right now we're next to Tejo River, goes all straight into the ocean, and the city is not capable of treating the water from the street, so everything goes straight into the ocean.
And after a 4-year hiatus, partly due to the pandemic, Japan has resumed baby sumo competitions. I know it sounds kind of outrageous, but the babies aren't wrestling, obviously. Instead, they're facing off in a crying match. The one who cries loudest wins the bout.
Some people may get surprised to see this event and think it's terrible that we make babies cry. But in Japan, we believe babies who cry powerfully also grow up healthily. This kind of event takes place in many places in Japan.
And like many cities around the globe near a body of water, here in Istanbul, we're very familiar with the chirps of seagulls. They can be pretty loud to the annoyance of residents, but a Belgian town aims to change the negative image of these coastal birds with a seagull imitation contest. And to win, participants need to mimic the posture of the bird as well as their calls.
We all know that seagulls are often despised by the public. They don't like them because the droppings fall all over. They open litter bins, they pick ice creams and sandwiches. And we thought, why not getting more sympathy for those seagulls, because they are part of the coast. There's no coast without seagulls.
All right, on to something that's trending. Have you heard about stealth luxe? Now, for the rich, it's an understated way of showing off one's wealth. Think of luxury, and one usually thinks of labels like Jimmy Choo, Gucci, Fendi, or Chanel. But obvious labels may be the biggest faux pas of them all for the uber rich.
What is quiet luxury? When a lot of people think of high fashion, luxury fashion, they often imagine something like this. But this is not luxury fashion. That's a billboard. Often, the entry-level products from a luxury brand will be covered in logos and identifiers that allow the consumer to feel like they are part of that brand, they are part of an exclusive club. But often, the wealthiest people wear clothing with no logos at all. And that doesn't mean they're shopping at Walmart. They're often buying quiet luxury, where the luxury aspect comes in the form of incredibly high-quality materials, construction, and reputation. You can look at this picture of Mark Zuckerberg and assume he got that t-shirt from Target. But in reality, that's a custom-made shirt from Brunello Cucinelli, who sells similar shirts, not custom-made, for $650. And I can tell you that clothing like this feels incredible to the touch and amazing to wear, but you probably won't believe me. So if you can, go to a Brunello Cucinelli store, a Loro Piana store, and try one on yourself.
Wow, $650 t-shirts. Okay, so brand labels are out and understated luxury is now in. The price tags are still hefty, but the tones are more muted, styles are classic, and it's supposed to scream chic and effortless. It's been doing the rounds like forever among the uber rich, but Gwyneth Paltrow's 8-day ski trial recently brought it mainstream. And if you're invited to schmooze with these fancy types, leave that $3,000 bag behind. It's going to get attention for all the wrong reasons.
The best way to understand stealth wealth or quiet luxury is Tom from Succession's reaction to this Burberry handbag.
Everyone's laughing up their sleeves about your date because she's brought a ludicrously capacious bag. What? What's even in there? Huh? Flat shoes for the subway? Her lunch pail? I mean, Greg, it's monstrous. It's gargantuan. You could take it camping. You could slide it across the floor after a bank job.
These are the differences between the ultra wealthy and everyone else. They don't have to carry around purses. They've got a car and driver waiting on the curb. They don't need flats for the subway. They never take the subway. They don't need to use social media like a lowly content creator. They own the companies that all the content creators work for. They don't need to dress like they have a personal brand. They don't need a personal brand.
And that's our show. Find us on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.